Welcome to Nasdaq Trade Talks. I'm Jill Malandrino, global markets reporter at Nasdaq. Digitization has been the most widely adopted strategy in financial institutions to improve their core processing competencies, efficiencies, and the consumer experience. Lending is an area of finance that is especially benefiting from digitization, and there is still significant room for growth on the horizon. Joining me to discuss is Steve Bisbee, founder and president of eOriginal. Steve, it's great to have you with us. Welcome to Trade Talks.
Thank you very much. My pleasure.
Tell us about e-signature technology and also about National eSign Day.
So signatures generally evidence the signer's intent to be bound by the terms contained in an agreement, creates a legal enforceability. And throughout the centuries, we've seen names written on clay, rock, papyrus, chops, seals, and marks. And these are all examples of that connection of legal enforceability. In our country and Britain and others, for important agreements, land sales and long-term contracts, the law requires that they be signed in writing on a tangible media such as paper. And this was to prevent fraud, but it is also a barrier to digital commerce. With e-signature technology, a person can use an electronic sound or symbol process to associate with the document. It can be a typed name, it could be biometrics, a voice, video, and other digital methods. But in order for that to be available, there needed to be a legal foundation. So the National eSign Day is to mark the 20th anniversary of the execution of the electronic signatures in Global and National Commerce Act. Our federal governments like to have an acronyms that they can utilize easily, and eSign is one of those. So eSign provided the ability for electronic signatures and documents or records to have the same validity as paper under federal law. It also gave uniformity to e-signature laws, the state level e-signatures laws. And it basically opened up our world to the benefits of online, remote, paperless lending and commerce.
How big is the global digital lending platform market size expected to get?
You know, there's a Grand View Research estimates that the global digital lending platform will reach 16 billion loans by 2026. We are seeing there was a slow adoption of digital loans and lending in the first portion of the last decade, but in the last 3 years, it's rapidly accelerated. And of course, it has been truly accelerated by the pandemic world we're living in today with stay-at-home, social distancing, and the need for contactless lending transactions. As most people are aware, e-signatures really enable the creation and funding of billions in dollars by the federal government, the SBA and others in just a matter of weeks, and that would not have been possible without e-signatures.
I would imagine businesses are learning that it's so much more efficient too with the lending process to have this technology.
This is something that really has been demanded by the consumer. Many businesses were reluctant to change. But is now the consumer expects that fully digital, instantaneous experience, and the businesses have had to follow that. Then they have seen the benefits of not having to move paper around, being able to have the immediate access to the data around the transactions, and being able to get both the speed and reduce cost and the efficiencies from everything from mortgages, auto loans, consumer loans, really pretty much every aspect of our life today.
And Steve, to wrap, what's the future for the next 20 years of digital signature technology?
Well, first, there's no question that it's going to have greater adoption. The pandemic has proven that. The pandemic has shown that how we view our environment in the world is not going to return to a pre-pandemic state. McKinsey recently stated that we have vaulted 5 years ahead and forward in consumer and business adoption in just a matter of about 8 weeks. And this historic deployment of remote work, as we are today, and digital access is not going to change. And what's important is that when we come out the other side of this pandemic, the recovery is going to continue to be digital. And we're not going to be just digital first, which is where people were going. We're going to be remote first, which is where people are and want to stay. So the signature technology itself is also going to continue to evolve. Right now, digital forms are rendered on screens from data for presentation, review, and execution. But in the future, we're going to see that these are going to be completely cloud-based, secure, immutable data alone, containing both the terms of the agreement and the evidence of the parties' binding intent. And the idea of having handwritten or typed representations of his signature probably will transform into biometric action capture. We see this now in other countries, how you execute transactions on phone and the tap to sign that Tesla has in their cars. Those types of things are going to become more prominent. The content will remain critical, but the methodology will be faster, less expensive, and self-validating.
All right, Steve, thanks so much for joining us on Trade Talks.
Thank you for the opportunity.
You got it. And thanks for joining me. I'm Jill Malandrino, Global Markets Reporter at Nasdaq.